Once again, my greetings to the United Planetary on this, my sixth address. From the beginning of our association, many developments have taken place in a short period of time. In a few short years, trends have changed direction towards hope for a sustainable future. I realize our contributions during the last few years have been fruitful, bringing about a positive turn. There is no denying the encouraging trend from hopeless confusion to a sense of order and comprehension, as information and facts surface to provide an outline where decision-making replaces intuition. In my address to your forum of the year 2019, that is 4 years back, I expressed my concern over the fact that regardless of our progress, I remain concerned for our future, as it could be expected that the same intelligence that brought the black hole to us would be looking for new elements to destabilize our space environment. As I mentioned in my address of the following year, that is 2020, some of us became aware of efforts towards damaging the stability of the universe itself, while evidence indicated some were busy trying to sabotage the integrity of the sky's magnetic field. And I reached the conviction that our enemies were once again trying to collapse the very sky. It seems pertinent at this time to inquire as to issues that the Forum may consider significant in relation to areas of the sky affected. Please feel free to highlight any new developments in your areas that should be taken into account or that we may be able to assist with. We should acknowledge the contributions of some of the communities in neighboring areas of the sky. Many of them have approached us to offer assistance in view of recent developments. The communities in neighboring galaxy Andromeda deserve a special mention in their continued effort to help, at our request, to curb the interference in our attempts to heal the tear in the sky we refer to as the sumidero in the area of the Mayflower. This situation, the Mayflower, is a constellation. It is recognized by most of the space travel. They can find the Mayflower. Apparently, it's a constellation that has the shape of a Mayflower. This situation, while improved, is still present and continues to be taxing in the lives of those engaging in neutralizing this menace. It is my understanding that some positive developments are slowly beginning to emerge there. These developments emerge after a long period of inactivity and are especially significant in light of the fact that areas 9 and 10 in our sky, the Mayflower, have been debilitated due to initiatives to collapse the area. Now, as we have mentioned before, we carry the title Backlash. Attacks on specific layers of society is one of the subtitles we highlighted last year. One of our main religious communities has been the victim of a serious attack that is presently under investigation. The loss of life has been extensive. It seems the attackers arrived from outside our planet and impersonated local communities. These visits would have been sustained over a period of time. The outcome is heartbreaking to us, as the losses that were unnoticed for some time are extensive. There has been a change in the targets. Before they were targeting, they are targeting the religious community specifically this time. Back to the contributions of the communities of Andromeda that assisted in exposing a long-term disruption that affects our religious communities. Again, a different type of attack. The use of fireworks in special religious holidays has been the target of clever sabotage, where subtle messages messages are included in the fireworks. Those messages affect our pets and others with keen hearing, while passing unnoticed to the rest of us, resulting in regular conflicts, fights, and disruptions that change something that is meant to be a uplifting celebration into tragedy. Economic degradation. This is a situation that remains unchanged. Efforts have been made towards regaining control of the cash flows that affect our planet, but those efforts are still being frustrated. I have referred to this problem by the term chicoria in a previous address to your forum, and we have learned since that we are not alone in this predicament. This is a problem that affects other areas of the sky. In the recent past, it has become clear that this state of affairs relates to other situations that need assessing and redressing. The issue of services is an example. Food industry degradation. Resources in our food industry continue to interfere with our capacity to improve the quality of the food we make available to our communities. Some newcomers to our food industry have been interfering with our efforts to rid our food from unnecessary chemicals towards the improvement of the health, mental, as well as physical of our communities. The lack of food availability in some of the areas of our sky is an issue that concerns all of us. Some of us have a religious conviction towards part of our galaxy becoming a garden galaxy, where hunger would no longer be a problem. This whole situation that engages us has certainly been getting on the way of progressing in that direction. A recent problem is avian flu, a condition that has been affecting us for a few years. It was originally believed to be restricted to the bird population of the planet, and unfortunately it has ported successfully to other species. It has recently been revealed that the problem is not really a disease or a plague, but rather the result of an insect infestation. This infestation present in the bird food infects the birds, and the birds that are often made available to human consumers at supermarkets and other food retailers infect the human communities. We were led to believe we were dealing with allergies. Regression in education. The regression in education is most noticeable as it refers to the availability of study materials. Several of our principal libraries have been ransacked and suffered the loss of large quantities of books as a result. Some group of individuals take to assess the collections in our libraries and suppress all books and materials that do not conform to their standards. This exercise affects fiction and non-fiction across subjects, and it has been going on for some time. Many of us fear that our communities will lose their competency in specific areas of knowledge. It seems barbaric that books are being destroyed by fire, and some of us are wondering what the future may bring. In this regard, while I was sharing my project on genetics entitled Nora, Rasenti and a Genetic Crisis this last year, something interesting emerged. While the standard number of chromosomes in our community is 27, it was found documented as 23 in most of the reference materials. As I clearly remember the number to be 27, I wonder if anyone had confronted a similar discrepancy as it pertains to the number of chromosomes in their genes. And to my surprise, in a matter of hours, the response was in the affirmative. Several communities recorded similar discrepancies, with 23 being the common denominator. The most extreme case seems to be the Actuarian community dinosaurs, documented with 23 chromosomes instead of their 40. Regression in physical training. I see the provision of access towards physical training and sports rather critical in overcoming some of the health limitations we confront when considering space travel. Still, in the wake of the COVID epidemic, I prefer to bypass this entry, hoping for the provision of access towards physical training and sports rather critical in overcoming some of the health limitations we confront when considering space travel. Still, in the wake of the COVID epidemic, I prefer to bypass this entry, hoping for better times. It is not healthy for people to exercise when in poor health. The lowering of ethical values and standards, I guess what happened here just now is an example of a lowering of ethical values and standards. Some of our strategies are controversial, even though we need to acknowledge we are not the attackers, but we are rather the people being attacked. It has been possible to lead some of our people towards the use of questionable strategies. I believe this problem could be mostly a reflection of the number of foreigners participating in some of our decision-making. There are among us those that endorse honorable principles, while others favor unfamiliar standards upholding winning at all costs. I believe that the situation that confronts us recently involving quintessence is an example of this. The Matrix and quintessence have deployed large numbers of people in the recent past. Large numbers of military personnel were lost to quintessence in an area of the sky, first in trying to discourage the least from Alistar, and lately as we were trying to assess the area of the sky generally referred to as the WIP or Theta. Large numbers of young people were destroyed by the strategic use of short-range lasers that were locally manufactured and remain unpaid for. There is a whole move in the direction of eroding propriety and good behavioral practices with the purpose of enabling an ongoing farce as it refers to military tactics. The tactics in question lack nobility and lead to the highest losses of our own military personnel while securing no victory. The lasers were locally manufactured. We have negotiated permission to manufacture lasers that were short range, not intergalactic, not able to shoot stars, but just to defend on a local, regional basis. Yes. A big heading in terms of this, and is not related to backlash, is provision of services, the provision of services. As a popular local environmental summit just drew to a close, the Environmentalist Forum in our planet was informed of the decision to build a new nuclear power plant towards meeting the electricity demands of our communities. The summit in question is a gathering on environmental issues at the highest political level. I realize the issue of the provision of services is critical, even though I fail to see why that should be the case. There is a need for services, and there is also the know-how to fulfill such need in ways that are not harmful to the environment, ways that sadly we are presently vigorously discouraged to use and or share with others. During my last address to your prestigious forum, I raised the issue of judicial penalties affecting the access to services granted to some communities. The use of star gas for light and cooking purposes is certainly not environmentally friendly. The use of methodologies with a residual in radioactive waste is also not environmentally friendly. Some of the information that has surfaced during the last year shed a new perspective in this situation. A perspective that tries to be assessed and researched further as it refers to Jesus of Nazareth surrendering his electric rights to the spouse of Apostle Lucas. These are religious, spiritual leaders. If there were doubts as to the legitimacy of these penalties, recent developments have certainly solidified them. The new information has resulted in a drastic paradigm shift, and we look forward to be able to settle these doubts soon. And while in the subject of the judiciary, the story of Nemesis deserves a special attention. Nemesis. The word nemesis translates to divine retribution and refers to a penalty by which a heavy weight, often an asteroid or even a small satellite, is dropped to a planet. The result is a strong, steady shake for the community being disciplined by a judiciary. Some years back, this penalty resulted in a planet dislodging from the ellipsis and plunging into destruction. The planet in question had been occupied by the women and children of two communities alien to our area of the sky that were sharing the planet without suspecting each other's presence. A third party decided to build a superport in the planet in question due to its strategic placement in our area. A neighboring community was entrusted to discourage this fortification and appointed Nemesis for the purpose. The planet collapsed, surprising everyone and prompting an investigation on the possible use of anti-gravitational devices. We introduced this issue during the address of last year in relation to the liftoff and landing of airports and other spacecraft in different parts of the sky. We are talking about the anti-gravitational devices and the effect they can have in the stability of planets and satellites. We have the conviction that there have been the use of such anti-gravitational devices in these particular cases that we are referring to. In connection with this penalty Nemesis that is supposed to provide us a shade, but not collapse the actual planet full of people. After decades of abuse by the communities affected, the communities under suspicion were able to demonstrate their innocence as it pertains to the outcome of these events. The communities affected had lost most of their women and children and were bitter on account of this. But it surfaced that the events described above have taken place nearly a dozen times in different areas of the sky. And that's what connected to the community in what we call the constellation of Satan, or the Whip. And trigger a whole lot of other events in the recent past. But in conclusion, as it pertains this one situation, we have been carrying the resentment and hostility of several of these communities and have been killing each other for several years. Our communities have not been involved in this, but were perceived as principals. We were pleased when our judicial structures were able to share the new information that became available when a thorough investigation was finally possible. The impact in the areas affected has been clearly noticeable for people that used to look at each other like mortal enemies. Today assess each other as potential allies. Another situation that surfaces in relation to Nemesis is what I entitled the plague. It concerns a health hazard that has been referred to as the plague. The communities in the satellite referred to as Erythro in the constellation of Alpha Centauri are confronting this menace. In reading the peculiarities of this health hazard, I realized the similarities of this problem with a peril we have been confronting here in our area, a contamination that is most dangerous when in the wheat harvest. I immediately tried to pull information when we were able to verify that we were dealing with the same problem. It was also rewarding to establish that we've been pursuing different avenues in researching and dealing with this situation. My connection with this health hazard started many years ago before I emigrated here, when some experts came into our area to undertake some experiments in human behavior. In our area, people were reluctant to collaborate due to the fact that the experiments were crude and cruel to the subjects. It was years later that these experiments resurfaced. Around the year 1996, when some of those involved began publicly discussing the outcomes, I made inquiries about the global results and in the process learned that two communities in different parts of the planet have displayed similar reactions. That is insanity when confronted with similar stressors. I was surprised and puzzled by the information due to the fact that the two communities in question have very different cultures, traditions, cuisines, etc. I requested assistance in trying to pinpoint products common to the two communities. The request was low priority, and it was a couple of years before someone got back to me with the information. The common product was American wheat. I immediately made inquiries about anything unusual in the American wheat. I was justifying my efforts when the existence of a mildew infection was revealed, infestation that the American community have been making efforts to eradicate. Apparently, wheat produced in cooler areas is less sensitive to the problem. I have been led to believe that the American wheat producers are busy trying to move their wheat to cooler parts of their areas. Further inquiries revealed that the mildew under discussion results from the urine of horses, and that refers to the liquid waste of horses. The wheat-producing community in question was trying to ban horses from the areas dedicated to wheat production. I decided to find a project to research items in the diet of the horses that may result in the urination of the mildew in question. I was gratified when someone in the group came forward eventually. I organized a group of members of the scientific community to research just what was in the diet of the horses that was causing the horses to urinate this harmful mildew. And I was gratified when eventually somebody came forward with the information. The tall grass that can be found in certain areas of our planet, like in the Pampa Argentina, la Sabana Venezolana, the Pass of St. James in Europe, the Toja Africana, and this is an example in different continents of our area. You can find this tall grass, which is alien to the flora of our planet. It's not one of our plants. This mildew turned out to be used by some pharmaceuticals in the production of questionable products like LSD, anthrax, and ticks, which are all illegal substances that are used in the illegal trade of drugs. It further surfaces that several areas of our sky are affected by the same problem. They have the same grass and the same mildew affects their people eventually. We further learned that the tall grass is also alien to those areas. This tall grass has been traced to a few areas of the sky, 20 apparently, overall, by others that jump at the information and conducted an investigation right away, and we are grateful that this took place at the beginning. We are relieved that there are people out there that follow through on these things, yes. And we were able to actually ascertain that these problems are not ours, that we share them with large numbers of people out there, yes. Some of us are trying to trace the origin of the tall grass, hoping to be able to ascertain, among other things, how the communities neighboring that tall grass managed to cope with it. In our planet, this tall grass is a killer by itself. The sprouts shoot out and encroach in our bodies and grow through us, eventually killing the person affected. In trying to deal with this grass, we realize that the use of chemicals can result environmentally risky. While burning by fire is not very productive, as we suspect a fertilizing effect derives from the resulting sulfur. Sulfur is the name of the residual when you burn the non-mild grass that they burn our normal grass, and then they plant this alien grass in its place. And it is the sulfur that is the residual of burning the original vegetation that seems to stimulate their grass, this tall grass. Sprinkling salt seems to discourage this grass, and in view of this virulence, the use of fumigator planes is recommendable when dispensing the salt that could be in the form of a solution, and that means mixed with water. You mix water, salt into the water, and salt can be acquired from the aqua planet. We have salt here because we have oceans and seas, and but any of the aqua planets will have plenty of salt. An inexpensive product, yes. Exposure to the mildew results in insanity and eventually death. Being this a result of an external agent, the mildew, avoiding exposure to the mildew generally neutralizes the problem, and most people have been known to recover when able to do this. So if your people, you realize they have become insane and they have been exposed to this mildew, either we are exposed by ingesting with food through the wheat, but there are people in Erythro, for instance, in Alpha Centauri area, the density is so high they breathe it in the air, and it has the same effect, insanity. Yes. If you realize that, the moment that people are not exposed to this, they regain their health, they regain their sanity. So you shouldn't actually be totally discouraged that your people are insane. It's a result of something external to them, and the moment that is neutralized, the person recovers. Yes, when the brain chemistry is affected, it is to be expected that it takes some time to restore a healthy chemical balance. But we shouldn't let that discourage us. Yes. The community in Erythro have made inroads regarding this problem they call the plague, especially as it pertains to brain effects of I am sorry that unfortunately they experienced some tribulations when trying to connect with us, crash landing in our planet. I am one of many that appreciated their candor in trying to put resources towards dealing with this common menace. There was some kind of miscommunication, and I deplore, and I think it was outrageous that this should have happened, and I'm so sorry. Another issue that surfaced from this has to do with nightfall. We refer to nightfall in relation to the perils of a community confronted with darkness due to a special eclipses in an area of multiple stars. The events described would have taken place in the area neighboring the constellation we refer to as Alpha Centauri and apparently led to the collapse of part of the sky. To quote the book, if the stars were to appear one night in 1,000 years, how would men believe and adore and preserve for many generations the remembrance? And that's from Emerson, unquote. It seems a community in the area of the constellation of Alpha Centauri would have been exposed to the cyclic destruction of their civilization on account of the eclipse episodes mentioned above. This resulted on a religious trust embodying what they consider holy, that is entitled the Book of Revelation. Since then it has come to my attention. This religious trust in this Book of Revelation is common to several areas of the sky where they have double star systems, and the occurrence of these periodic cyclic eclipses. Eclipse is what happens when there is two celestial bodies are in line in such a way that the one covers the other to the point that it's not visible. Here we often have eclipses where our satellite, the moon, is in line with our sun, and the whole planet goes dark for a few minutes until the normal trajectory of the celestial bodies fixes itself up. Yes, of course. But for several minutes you can have darkness while the moon, the satellite, is precisely in line with the sun covering it. And this happens in other areas. It's a natural phenomenon. It's a result of how the whole sky system works, with the planets and satellites moving around on paths, an elliptic path around their star. Yes, of course. We didn't know. An earlier event of this nature in a nearby area of the sky would have led to their taking an interest in the birth of a religious leader in our planet, and that would have been Jesus of Nazareth, which I mentioned earlier. As we were the ones made to look responsible for these happenings, these people came to investigate here. The community collapsed part of their own sky when pushed into insanity due to their exposure to darkness and the stars in the night sky, in combination with the exposure to this mildew that we are discussing in the previous section, the plague. Their visit leading up to the birth of first Goliath and then Jesus of Nazareth certainly changed the course of history in our planet. It's quite clear that religion is intertwining this. Yes. Electricity would have been made available to Jesus of Nazareth during his lifetime, 2,000 years back, as part of his financial entitlements and responsibilities, yet was misappropriated by the alien spouse of the Apostle Lucas, one of his colleagues at the time. These events have had a ripple effect in our history, and they also have a ripple effect in the day-to-day life of communities in the sky. As it refers to access to services in general, but especially as it pertains to access to electricity. And I think that's important that people realize so that we can move toward restoring what was intended. Miss Wesley and superluminescence is the next slide. We received a visit from Miss Wesley, who was hoping to find assistance in her quest towards the development of superluminescence. This refers to phase travel faster than the speed of light. I appreciated the opportunity this provided to meet this engaging and gregarious person, and was able to establish that her popularity is well deserved. Whatever support our community may have been able to provide, she stayed ahead, trailblazing in uncharted territory. It is her perception that superluminescence traveling is critical if we are to have any hope of rising to the challenges of these troubled times. In a few months, she managed to build a prototype and he was traveling around testing the development herself. With the project well under her control, she started looking towards the oil empire and the hope for participatory forms of government as a new challenge. We were sad to see her depart, leaving a gap in our area, and her enthusiasm was certainly contagious. There is talk of a conspiracy toward replacing several members of this family, her family. Some may cherish them, some may loathe them, but I cannot believe many would condone their identities stolen and their public personas replaced by others. In previous addresses to this forum, I included an exhortation by Mr. Salvo Harding in this regard, and this lends credibility to the rumors. The Black Ray incident. The Black Ray incident that resulted in our moon being hit by accident is still under investigation, and it was discussed at the end of my last address last year. The area of the lion then would have been the origin of the ray, but the information that has surfaced so far is sketchy and incomplete. This incident resulted in high numbers of lives lost to 3 different communities, we among them, and many chains of events stem from this. We cherish that we have managed to establish a better rapport among the communities affected, but we cannot in good conscience close this chapter yet. Now that is the end of this section, and I start a section that is very concise, and it has to do with a timeline across the last year, and I hope I'm able to finish it because I'm running out of time. January. Efforts that originally appeared as a conspiracy to collapse the sky would have been an attempt to let loose the sumidero in the area of the constellation of the Mayflower as a way of cleaning the sky. This methodology required collapsing several sections of that area of the sky and the neighboring ones, sections 9 and 10 of our extended sky. We have discouraged this strategy. It's not crazy. Mildew in a red color was observed in a tree that seemed to have been hit by lightning near our sun area. In trying to assess it, it became apparent that the mildew in question had a demagnetizing effect in some tools. The combined efforts of the Oil Empire and the Confederation were required to abort an initiative to collide into our galaxy with some plasma contraction that would have collapsed the entire area of the sky if normal procedures had been possible and the perpetrators have been able to debilitate the magnetic stability of the area first. This is big. Yes, we get it. A couple of years back, I came across some photographs and videos of galaxies colliding in our World Wide Web, which is a special information services. Apparently, this tool, in combination with the destruction of the stars and the associated pool of the resulting black holes, would have been used to produce such catastrophes. Yes, the video was very compelling, and it was heartbreaking. The suffering of the people affected, yes. Attacks with no matter were identified in our galaxy, and this is generally associated with other dimensions. There are theories upholding synergy between no matter and black holes. I don't particularly. I think that if we understand what black holes are about, the electron pump and the proton synchrotron are an orthodox way of generating electrical power, and as an environmentalist, I do not endorse them. There was a connection between these people from a different dimension that were exchanging electrical power with us in a way that is not healthy, and we want to cancel, suspend. Yes. February. We learned that the offices of the Institute and analyzed nothing happen to be located in an area that is an extended Aramean area. The existence of several such offices in other areas of the sky was highlighted right away. It was sobering to be exposed to the frailty, to the vulnerability of a star membrane. Somewhere living fog exhibited exon, that's a star, membrane in our area, for reference purposes as it pertains to the star's capacity to restore health from extreme conditions under certain circumstances. We are still counting on the star children to make possible the restoration of the health of our sky. And no, we don't want to do that, no. It is unnerving that people could actually destroy the star to the point that they can extract the membrane that is at the core of the star. And just, it's possible to restore the star from that into a healthy star again. It's too extreme. Yes, it's possible, but rather if we didn't do it. Yes. It is with anxiety that some of us contemplate the efforts toward the standardization in the use of solar energy for the provision of home electricity in our area. Financial incentives were being made available. We don't want solar power here. This is a local problem, but it came from outside. Conflicts in Egypt, that's on the north of Africa, affect several communities, among them the Greek community. There's an epidemic hits the area, and a donation of vitamins and supplements that were secured as medical assistance was intercepted and tampered with. Blame ended up a portion on the uninvolved, and it surfaced that our solar system is considered a holy place by many, and as such, is perceived as a place of non-violence. A need to sensitize our local communities in this regard becomes imperative, as visitors and other newcomers are challenged in their capacity to defend themselves in this area. This has led to abuses in the past, and some of us are pained by this, even when understanding that this has also been often hijacked by outsiders that take advantage of this for their own purposes. This is important. I'm skipping a couple of things because we don't have time. In June, we became aware at the middle of the year, with sadness and anxiety, that sections of the sky in the area of the constellation of the Alpha Centauri have been replaced by a mirage, an illusion. The mirage has created the illusion of a sky that is no longer there. We conceive the use of light in our electricity towards assessing how much of the area still exists. We wonder if this mirage is a procedure being used in other parts of the cosmos. Another important thing. During these months, a project involving the development of superluminal travel brought Mr. Harry Sheldon's daughter to our area. It turned out, in addition, that Mr. Sheldon had been missing for some time, and his daughter was trying to find him. We regret that it was established that he would have been killed in the recent past while making a movie in our planet. I'm sorry, this sabotage really delayed me. I'm 1 minute over my allocated time. Over. Leona. The prospect of some of our Lion communities relocating to the area of the galaxy of Leona have been met with great expectations, as it is believed that it's the place where this species would have originated, reaching our area with the tall grass discussed elsewhere. Both Leona and Rama presently draw most of their food from sections 11, 12, and 13 of our sky. Leona is one of our galaxies in our sky. Yes. The other things I have discussed before. I wish you all a good year. I hope the information that was provided here assists you in helping your communities. I hope that it provides a frame of reference that you can profit from. I hope to hear from you if you think I can be of further assistance. I'll make the information that I made available in our information system for anyone to refer to. And I look forward to reconnecting with you next year if you are able.